We have Jen Link and Brittany LaGanke here from Corporate Giving Connection. And so they're one of our sponsors. Thank you for being a sponsor. And we would love to just, hear more about how how you can do graphic design with Canva. So I'll kind of let you guys take it away from here.
Hello, everybody. This is Brittany LaGanke. Thank you so much for joining us for this. This is going to be a quick overview of one of our favorite graphic design tools that's online and is free for nonprofits called Canva. So if you're familiar with Canva, if you've used it a lot before, this session's probably going to be mostly things that you already know, but hopefully maybe you'll pick up a couple of additional tips here. So I'm going to present my screen.
Looks good.
Hopefully everybody can see our presentation here.
Yeah, you look
So
good.
that is my picture on the left side there. Again, my name is Brittany LaGanke. I'm the Director of Nonprofit Development for Corporate Giving Connection. We're a full service marketing and development firm. So we focus on both strategy and execution for our nonprofit clients. And then we've also got Jen on the line here. She's our Chief Marketing Officer. Her picture's on the right. I don't know if you want to say hi, Jen.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us here today. I personally use Canva every day, all day long. So I love talking about it. Pretty excited to have this chance to share it with all of you.
Yep, awesome. And so we are going to dive right in. I've got a ton of stuff that I want to show you guys, and we're going to move through really quickly. So hopefully it's not too quick, but so a quick introduction of what we're going to cover. I'm going to show you Canva. We're actually going to go inside the website. I'm going to share my screen so you can see everything I'm doing. We're going to walk through and actually create an Instagram post in real time so you can see how I'm going to do that using their templates. We're going to talk a little bit about basic design and best practices and show you some examples. And then hopefully if there's time at the end, we can get to a couple of questions. So feel free to put those in as we're going, and we'll either answer them on the fly or we will try to come back to those. So I wanted to start by just talking about the basics of why you even would want to maybe consider using Canva or creating designs versus just your standard email or information layout that you've been using. Reducing text and readability for your viewers is huge. So you can lay things out and break ideas down visually. It's a lot easier to grab people's attention in your marketing efforts or your advertisements or social media if you've got images. It makes it more personal and just interesting to look at. So if you have a quote or a statistic of some kind that you want to offset or highlight, it's a really easy way to do that and display everything in a way that's quick and easy for people to digest. It's also good to break down concepts into visual steps. So for example, we've got our process. This is straight from our CGC website on the right. So it's just laid out in a way that's a little bit easier to quickly glance over and read through and get an idea of what our process is. And then also just having uniformity with your designs. So we've got a few different examples here. So this is these are some marketing materials for one of our clients that does a national convention every year. So these are some of the graphics that they're using to promote that this year. So we've got the email banner, we've got the Facebook cover photo, and then there's a few examples of social media posts that they've been using. So everything, it kind of ties things together. All of the design elements are uniform with the colors and the logo and the fonts and everything. So that's always helpful to have, and just to give a level of uniformity to your campaign or your marketing efforts. So I'm going to dive right now into Canva. And I did want to make sure to mention that, so Canva is free as a tool for anybody online, but they actually have, they call it Canva Pro, is like their elevated kind of level of membership. And they actually offer that free for nonprofits. So as nonprofits, you actually do have the opportunity to access some of the extra features and the advanced options that they offer for free. So that's definitely something that if you're able to, you want to take advantage of that. So getting right into this, I'm going to move this campaign over here. Okay, so couple things I wanted to mention. So this is the home page. When you create your own Canva account and you log in, this is what you'll see. So you've got your designs that you've created here. There's also a bunch of different templates, and they organize them kind of by, you know, which ones are the most used. So you've got Instagram posts, people create a lot of those, flyers, logos, posters, things like that. So all of those are right there. All of your designs are laid out as well right at the beginning. And then one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you create your account for your organization is add your brand kit in here. And what that means is the different elements that you think you're going to be using over and over and over again. So if you've got brand guidelines that your organization adheres to, and even if they change for different campaigns or different events, you can load multiple sets of those in. So you've got your logos in here. You can upload those so that they're always in there and easy to use. Your colors, so we've got our CGC brand colors in here. And fonts over here, so you can upload your different fonts. You're probably going to need to upload if you've got specific fonts that you use. They're a little, the ones that they offer in Canva, they've got a ton of different options for fonts, but they're a little bit different from your standard Adobe fonts. So chances are you're probably going to need to upload if you're looking for a very specific font. But if you are not able to do that for some reason, or if you just have kind of a look and feel that you're looking for, or a typical font that you use, you can always, I just will type into Google sometimes if there's a font that Canva doesn't have, but I want to find something similar to it, I'll just type it into Google, and usually people can give suggestions for Canva fonts that are similar to the one that you're looking for. And then in terms of colors, you'll just need the hex number. So you'll click add, and then you just put your hex number in here and you can add those brand colors. So over here, we've also got content planner. So we don't use this a ton, but it is an option for you if you want to schedule out different designs, posts, and things like that. So you can create a kind of a content calendar for yourself and your team. Over here, there's create a team. So we don't really use this, but it's also just an option where you can collaborate and have administrators oversee different designs that your team is creating. And it is a paid service, but I believe with the Canva Pro for nonprofit, their free that they offer, they will give you up to 10 team members on here. So that's something that you'll be able to access as well as a nonprofit. Up here at the top, this Learn tab, you've got a ton of different tutorials and videos and articles. They've got a blog, and it just talks about a ton of variety of different topics about Canva itself and how to use all their features, and then just kind of graphic design in general. So we're going to go through a few of the basics here today, but if you're looking to get more information or specific questions, you can always go up here, and there's a ton of resources there for you. And then one last thing I wanted to mention before we go into the actual design is you can create folders. So we use folders for different clients or for different projects that we've got going on. They're also here on the left-hand side. So just make sure if you think you're going to be creating a bunch of different designs, it's probably a good idea to set those up ahead of time so that you can organize everything and you don't have to scroll down through a ton of different designs every time you're looking for something. Okay, so we are going to create a design, and we're just going to show you in real time how to do this. So up here, first thing you want to do, click create a design. So if you have specified custom dimensions that you already know that you're looking for, you can add those in here. I typically don't do that. I'll just come in, and if I know I want to create an Instagram post, they've got those suggested things here for you, and they've got a ton of different options, or you could search, you could type in something if you're looking for something specific. So I typically will just click that. So if we're looking for an Instagram post, it comes up and we've got this square image ready to go for us. And what's the easiest thing typically to do, you could start from scratch. So it always will pull up kind of just a white basic blank canvas for you. But something that's really easy, especially for beginners, is just to utilize their templates. And Canva has a ton of great templates available for you. So you can see I'm scrolling through all of these on the side. So if you just find one, look through, there's a bunch of different options. If I see one that I think will work well, maybe I click on this one. I think this is going to work well for what I'm looking to promote. I can do that. So I'm going to pick this as kind of our template of choice for the day. So we're just going to say that we are we're doing a CGC food drive. So I'm going to enter that in the top here, change our title. And I do want to mention you change the title. Anything you put up in this top bar here is what it's going to save as. The changes that you make automatically save every few seconds, but you can also come down here and just file and save as you go along, but they will automatically update as you go. So we change the name there. And then the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to come in and change some of these colors. So this is the background color. You see, you can come up over here. We've got our brand colors already loaded in. So if I want to make this our CGC blue, and then maybe I want to make the bottom over here our CGC green, do that. And these little circles, all of these are different elements. So you can see, you can grab them, you can move them around, you could make them different sizes. So this is why I think Canva is just so user-friendly, because it really, you just kind of have to grab and drag and start doing stuff. It's not like you have to know a bunch of coding. You can just edit visually, which is really, really nice. So maybe I want to change all of these little circles to our CGC yellow. Okay, so we've got all of that changed. You can change the position of these like I showed you. And then I want to come up here, and this doesn't look good in red anymore, so maybe I'll just make this white for our purposes. And I'll change the title here to CGC Food Drive. And then you can make this bigger or smaller. You can move this around. And Canva's nice too, because you can see as I'm moving this back and forth, it's giving me those lines, helping me line everything up. So everything is nice and centered. They help you do that. And then maybe I want to change this. If we're going to have this August 30th, 2020, make that a little smaller and then recenter that. So you're just kind of dragging and dropping. It's nice and easy. They help you make sure that everything is lined up. If I wanted to, for some reason, maybe grab all of these items and offset them, you could highlight these different sections. If you want to group things together, so you're moving them together, you just want to click group up here. And then once you do that, these are together. So you can see I'm moving these. They're all moving simultaneously. And then if I want to edit them individually again, you just want to click ungroup, and then they kind of pop back up. And it looks like I lost my little circle right here. So if you want to move, you can move things forward and backwards with the positioning. So I'm going to move this forward all the way to the front so we can see that again, and move that back over here. Okay, so that looks good. So we talked about changing the size of these things. Again, anytime you want to change the fonts, you come up here to your fonts. You can search a font if you're looking for something specific, or if you've got your fonts uploaded, your brand fonts, you would see those all listed, everything that you've uploaded, and then they just have a ton of different options in here. So there's always different options to look at there. If you want to change these fonts, these are two different fonts it looks like. If you wanted to change these, but make sure that they still are visually appealing and they match, you just don't like the ones that are in there. If you come over here to where it says text, Canva does a good job of actually giving you suggestions for different font pairings. So over here, we like to use this one a lot, this graphic design, or there's Cheers. There's just a bunch of different font pairings that look good together, that are kind of pre-selected. So if you don't want to look through, or you don't trust your eye to decide which fonts look good, that's an easy way to figure that out. Okay, so then the next thing we would want to do would be change this photo. So we want to make sure that everything's personalized. We've got a ton of great images that we want to use. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to click delete on my keyboard here, and that'll go away. So you can see what's left there. This is called, they call it like a photo frame. So we can move this around, but basically that's just a spot where you can add in either a photo or a video. So we're gonna find one of our photos that we wanna add in there. So they have photos that you can
Brittany,
record. Yep.
where would I find a photo frame if I wanted to add a photo frame to my design and it wasn't there in the first place?
Okay, so let's do that. So I'm gonna get rid of this. So if we have this little frame here, we wanna add a photo in there, we're gonna come over to elements. And there's different shapes, lines, we've got arrows, there's little pictures, there's actually little moving stickers and things like that, charts. So here's where the frames are located. So they've got a ton of different options there. So this is just a simple square frame. That's the one that was already in there. So I'm gonna adjust the size of that and then just put that right in there. Again, it's gonna help me center that. So you could make that triangle, circle, pretty much any kind of shape you want. You just throw those in. So that's how you select those. So then when it comes to adding your actual photo, they've got a ton of photos in here. So if we wanted to search for food and images, we could find all these different options. But of course, anytime we have the opportunity, we want to use our photos. So you can come over here to the sidebar where we've got uploads. So these are photos that we've added. So you can click up at the top, upload an image or video. You can take them from your computer, from your social media, your Google Drive or your Dropbox and upload those. So here's a bunch of photos that we've uploaded. So maybe I want to put this one in and you just drag it over and drop it in there. And maybe I want to center these ladies a little bit more. You could make the photo a little bigger. You can crop and adjust the size of that. So then I click done when I'm ready for that. You can add filters to these. So if you wanted to, for whatever reason, maybe I wanted that to be black and white, I could do that or put any of these other filters. You can adjust the brightness and contrast and all of that stuff in here as well. You can crop like I just showed you. So there, that I could leave that photo in there. If I wanted to put in a video, so maybe I want this, maybe I want to create some kind of like GIF that I could put on Instagram or on social media. So maybe we want to do a video. I'm going to delete that photo. I'm going to come over here to our videos and I'm going to search food and see if there's any videos I like. So we've got a ton of videos here. Maybe I want to get a little bit more specific and I want to say food drive. So we've got videos here. I like this one of these gentlemen packing up some food. So you can just drag and drop that in. And now we've got, now this is active. Adjust the size of that and recenter it. And then what you can do, so this is, it looks like this video is 13.1 seconds. So I probably don't want it to be that long. So you can come up here and you can crop these videos. So maybe I just want it to be a little bit shorter. You can select the different segment of the video that you want to include. So maybe I want their faces to be in there. I can kind of drag that around and select the exact segment of the video that I want. So that looks good. And then we already talked about this a little bit, but just adding other elements. So, you know, if I wanted to add maybe a sticker on here, this little ice cream cone guy, I could add him on there. These different charts, and these charts are slightly customizable as well. So if you were posting about different statistics about your organization or things like that, those are really useful. There's a ton of different little symbols and things like that. So those are really fun to just kind of play around with and add in. So one thing I wanted to show, and this is, Jen and I love this feature. So if I wanted to add this photo in there, sometimes I might just want that little bag of food. You can actually isolate it. So if I come over to effects here, you can remove the background. So I'm going to click that. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds to do here. But it's just going to remove that white background there. So we'll just have that little bag of food if I just wanted that on there. So there we go. It removed that. I'm going to make that a little smaller. So that's a nice, cute little bag of food we can just put in the corner there. Okay. So I probably wouldn't keep that in if it was me, but just for the sake of this example, we're going to leave that in there. So then I showed the grouping and ungrouping, how to move everything around. So then once you feel like your design is in a place where you like the way it looks, you're going to want to download it. So make sure you have it named appropriately. And then you're just going to come up here to the top right side where it says download. And anytime that there's a video that's part of it, it's automatically going to give you this MP4 video. But if you wanted to do a GIF, you could click that. If it's an image, typically it's just going to give you the PNG. You can click if you want it to be a transparent background. So if you were creating a logo or something like that, you might want to have that be a transparent background so you can use it and put it into other designs, and it wouldn't be a big white background or anything there. So that's always an option. Again, with this GIF, and then you just click download, and then you'd have your GIF ready to go. And then if we wanted to, we showed an example from one of our events that we've got upcoming where they had those different social media posts, and then they also had the email banner and the Facebook cover. So if I had this design and maybe I want to create the other elements to go along with it. So I could come up here and where it says resize, maybe I want to make a Facebook cover. So click that, and then you want to make a copy so you don't lose your original design, but you can just click copy and resize, and it will automatically put it into this is a size of a Facebook cover photo. So typically when you do that, you are going to need to kind of come in here and adjust these different elements and make sure that it's laid out in a way that makes sense for each of the different formats. So I would spend time moving all these things around. We don't have time to do that right now, but I would just adjust the sizes of all these things and move them around so that it makes sense with this amount of space. And then also in here, they have recently added the options to have music. So you can add music in here if you want. We're probably not going to do that right now, but you could do that. Also, they've got, you could animate certain elements. So if you wanted to kind of have these things slide in or fade in, there's a bunch of different animations that you could do for these different elements. So that's an option too. So when you log in, it's really, you're just going to have to kind of play around a little bit and see what you can create. So that is kind of the basics of Canva, and I'm going to come back up in here. I'm going to go back to our presentation, and we're just going to show a couple of different examples and best practices to keep in mind. So in terms of font, so again, we want to keep our fonts either uniform or match. So it is possible to have different fonts that match, or you could use different versions of fonts that are in the same family. So this is an example of doing that. We've got the Aileron Heavy and then regular. That's a really easy way to make sure that fonts are matching up. But again, I think I showed the in Canva, when you are clicking the text box and adding that stuff in, they have different suggestions for font combinations that are already pre-selected. So those are pretty good. In terms of color use, again, these are templates straight from Canva. They've got a ton to work with. They're just really, really great about providing you a ton of different options so you're not creating everything from scratch every single time. So you can see different shades of color here in the examples on the left, and then also examples of using contrasting colors on the right. And kind of the general guideline for graphic design is you want to use 1 to 3 primary colors and 1 to 3 secondary colors. So you can see both of these examples have that. And then proper photo use. So you just want to make sure with all the photos that you're adding to your designs that they're high resolution enough that they're going to look good on screens, especially if you've got something on a website that's going to be stretched out across the screen. You want to make sure that you're using a high resolution image that's not going to be grainy. And you also want to pay attention to copyright issues. So photos that you're finding online, just make sure that there aren't any copyright issues that you're going to run into. So I've listed a couple of options for free image sources. Canva has a bunch of options. StockSnap, Unsplash, Flickr, and Pixabay, they all have different options for free photos. And then in terms of layout, so you want to pay attention to visual hierarchy. So this Instagram post on the left is a good example of this. So if you've got a bunch of information that you're listing out, you can use fonts and sizes of fonts and bolding to kind of offset different information. So if somebody's looking at this, their eye is drawn immediately to certain sections. So you can see, instead of just kind of using this as a uniform list, they've offset, free webinar, and then the Friday, April 3rd, they've offset that with black boxed text. So that's a good example of how to use the visual hierarchy to your advantage. And then simplicity is key. I mean, don't overcrowd your photos with a bunch of text and different things. You want to keep everything clean and easy to look at. So again, Canva's got a ton of templates where they've kind of already done that work for you. So that is the quick overview. I think we're kind of up against time now. Candace, do we have any couple of questions that we want to talk about, or do we need to wrap up?
Yeah, I think we can take a couple quick questions. There's Will asked, can you create Facebook ads with Canva?
Yeah, so you can create anything visual with Canva. I mean, I know people in the past, I think somebody was asking a question about linking and stuff like that. You can only link images to one place. And I know Jen and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. People sometimes will look for ways to link multiple things in an image. So that would be a situation where you'd probably want to create a PDF instead. You can also do that on Canva. But anything image wise. So if you're using a Facebook ad or something like that, you can definitely create that.
So I just want to chime in and just say, you can create the ad in there. You can't schedule it, or like you could post a Facebook post directly from Canva to Facebook, but if it's an ad, you still have to go through Facebook Business Manager. And then there have been a couple other questions that I've been trying to get to them all as we go along. So Brittany, I'm gonna chime in on a couple of these questions that we've gotten, if that's okay with you. Kyle has been asking about what happens if you try to put a picture into a frame and it doesn't fit correctly. And the answer is really, like, you can double click on the photo and you should be able to enlarge, make it bigger, make it smaller, crop it. But there are some photos, depending on the dimensions, where they just aren't going to fit in the frame correctly. What you can do, because the follow-up question was, can I fix the dimensions of the photo before I put it in? What you can do, it's kind of complicated in Canva, but you can start a new design, just put the image in there and make sure that the image matches your design dimensions. And then you can edit and crop it there, and then save that as a new image, upload it to your own folders, and then use that as your image when you put it in the frame, rather than just putting the photo that Canva's given you directly into the frame. So I hope that explains it. It's kind of backwards and a pain in the butt, but sometimes if you've got the perfect image, then it is what it is. I've also been asked about creating website pages. As far as I know, like, you can't create, like, you couldn't build a website out of Canva, but you can build all the images that you need for your website. So if we definitely use Canva for putting together images that we used on our WordPress site, or if you have a Wix site, or any one of the other webs, there's so many out there that are so easy to use. And I wouldn't be surprised if Canva either was working on a way for you to make website pages, or if they might already have it and I just don't know about it. The next question is, can you create a Facebook cover video with Canva? So I would think so, because if you can put your Facebook cover, so like Brittany, when you open up the Facebook cover option in the dimensions, right? It's one of the set dimensions that you can pick when you're going to create a new design is Facebook cover, and then just put a video into it. and then download that as an MP4, then you should be able to upload that MP4 as your Facebook cover video. I would think, I wouldn't see why you couldn't. I haven't done it though, so I say all of that with a grain of salt. So cropping the overall size of my design on Canva, you can't, it's complicated, but Brittany, you showed how to resize, right? So you can't crop a design. You have to basically resize the design, which usually means that you are then going to have to manually adjust. Sometimes Canva will show you like options. If it's going to adjust it, it might show you options for you to choose from. But a lot of times you're just going to have to like then manually rework your design. So it's not the greatest. I do wish I could crop designs. That would be super helpful. Can you create stories in Canva? You can create all the elements you need for stories. So they do have an Instagram stories template, and they have stickers, and you can now create GIFs, and you can create MP4s. So all the tools you need, you can create, but then you just have to go.
Unmute me. Okay.
Then you just have to go and manually upload your Instagram story or your Facebook story. The videos do not, as far as I know so far, I've not seen them loop. So they won't loop, but there are a lot of videos that are, a minute long or longer than a minute. So you can use those if you need something a little bit longer. We could honestly do a half an hour just on video alone.
Yeah.
And let me see. So I think we have some answers here in the chat too. Candace has shared a few links in here.
Yeah, so I shared some links for resources where you can look at the Canva for Nonprofits registration page. They also have like the Canva social media guide and then just regular Canva. So yeah, if you want to get started with creating your ads, Facebook ads or more, or really any other images that you want to use in either on your website, you could of course upload anything on your website or incorporate that into anything else. Hey Alana, thanks for joining. We're just wrapping up this last session. Sorry, we're running a little long. And so yeah, so feel free to check out those links. Also, Corporate Giving Connection. So thanks again for becoming a sponsor with us. We are so excited to have you join us for this really great session.